Some glad morning when this life is o'er.
I'm Pete Evans, and this is Barry Bowen, and we investigate religious fraud and excess for Trinity Foundation. We've been doing that for roughly 35 years. Tell them a little bit more, Barry.
Trinity Foundation focuses on religious fraud. We track aircraft of televangelists. We document the extravagant lifestyles of religious leaders. We monitor the things that they say and preach, the way they deceive people with their words to get money.
So this morning we're going to focus on Benny Hinn. We came across a video where Benny was saying the Lord told him that 8 people would give TBN, give him $1 million. Let's take a look at that clip.
There are 8 men watching me. 8 men. The Lord is speaking to 8 men to sow $1 million each. Now, I've never really, I don't think ever said this on any praise-a-thon. There are 8 men God has spoken to give $1 million. And if you will obey God, one of you lost millions already in business. Lost millions. If you'll sow that seed, brother, just sow that seed, God will restore to you everything you lost.
Wow.
You've had a season of loss for 2 years. It began 2 years ago, sir. 2 years ago. And the loss began 2 years ago with your company, with your business. God is asking you tonight for a seed. You see, God cannot bless the whole until you give him a piece of it.
In 1996, I worked undercover in Benny Hinn Ministries. So we've been investigating his ministry a long time. What, 30 years almost?
Over 30 years.
With, along with many other televangelists. And I was at an important business meeting where they stopped sharing their financial information publicly. This was in Orlando, and the church was then transitioning between the Orlando Christian Center and the World Outreach Center. I think they'd already changed their name. And this fellow named Gene Polino was running the meeting with another guy. And let me just read a little bit from what he said. He was asked from the audience. There were at least 100 people in the audience, maybe more. Were the finances of the church public knowledge? And Gene answered, our detractors, such as some people in the news media, etc., use that knowledge to hurt us. And we have chosen to protect ourselves in that area. Now, you read between the lines, when we find so many ministries that, quote, protect themselves now, it's so much easier not to reveal any financial information, but I'll keep going. Anyone who is a member of the church and or a contributor to World Outreach Center or Benny Hinn Ministries can come to his office, to Gene's office, and ask him any question or ask to see any ledger, and he would share that information. Yeah, right. Who wants to make the trip to the church rather than just look at it on their on the published information from the church or online nowadays. Anyway, I remember you telling me that Benny spent $5 million fighting the Grassley investigation, that we had sent 24 different reports to the Senate Finance Committee, and Senator Grassley and Senator Baucus were both on board with following up on this. So tell us a little bit more about that.
We were wanting the Congress to hold hearings, to subpoena televangelists to testify before Congress. Back in the 1950s and 1960s, there were 2 big congressional investigations into organized crime. And we wanted the same thing to be done to televangelists. We wanted them to be grilled on camera with politicians asking the questions that journalists never get answers to.
And what happened with the Grassley investigation?
The Grassley inquiry went off the rails. There were some good things that came out of it. Number one, Grassley's staffers compiled reports on 4 of the 6 televangelists that were investigated. So they released reports on Paula and Randy White, not Joyce Meyer, not Benny Hinn. Those two cooperated.
Well, that in fact, that is a key point. They supposedly cooperated, right?
Right.
So, why do you think that Benny would have spent $5 million fighting the Grassley investigation if they actually cooperated? What's up with that?
Number one, Hinn hired 2 former IRS commissioners to protect him when the Senate Finance Committee announced their investigation.
Well, let me tell you all, and I want to tell Oral Roberts this. We went through an IRS investigation. It was an audit for 3 years. Then we went through a Senate investigation for 1 year, which was just completed. The cost was $5 million. $5 million is what it cost our ministry to defend ourselves. And the good news is we have been given a clean bill of health on both.
Praise God.
We cooperated fully and completely. God gave us a victory, and to him be the praise. Now we must deal with the deficit.
And what did the deficit amount to?
$3 million.
You had to spend $3 million.
We spent $5 million. We spent $5 million.
And $3 million of that came out of your own ministry.
All $5 million came out of our ministry. All $5 million came out of our ministry. But now we have a need of $3 million so we can get back to where we were and get back to doing what God called us to do. The gospel must be preached. And so even though God gave us a victory with the government, now we need a victory with our finances so we can go on preaching the gospel. It's the gospel that concerns me.
And that is where we believe a lot of that $5 million went, was to hiring 2 former IRS commissioners for his defense. One of those IRS commissioners granted the Church of Scientology its tax exemption.
Oh, I forgot about that totally, yeah. And of course, I'm kind of playing the straight man here because I know all this. In 2015, we sent a press release out speaking about the huge failure of the Senate Finance Committee. It was a colossal failure. They tossed everything to the Evangelical Council for Financial Accountability, who formed a task force that included some of the lawyers and CPAs that worked for the very televangelists that we had sent the reports on. And of course, they circled the wagons.
There is a term, you can look this up in Wikipedia. It's called regulatory capture. And regulatory capture happens when the people that are supposed to be regulated control the regulator. And so Senator Grassley wanted ECFA put together this commission to study key loopholes that were being exploited by religious organizations. His staff, 2 staffers, put out a report identifying these loopholes. And when ECFA's commission met and studied the issues, they recommended no changes, leaving the system as is. For example, one of the loopholes is that there's a tax on self-dealing, an excise tax. Self-dealing is when a person that heads a nonprofit and for-profit do business with each other. You can excessively profit off the nonprofit. That's illegal. But the televangelists do it all the time. And one of the ways they do that is they may own their own publishing company, which will print their own books and then sell those books to their church or ministry.
So their right hand is selling their books back to their left hand, so to speak.
Right.
So anyway, we are going to continue these podcasts, try to keep them short, and we'll probably focus another one on Benny soon, and we'll try to focus on individual televangelists from time to time. But if you like this podcast, please consider donating to Trinity Foundation and visit our website at trinityfi.org. Thank you very much for watching this.